Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge. Hello romance lovers, welcome to another romance recommendation video. And today again, we have me updating a rec video that I haven't done in, this one it appears to be about 5 years, which is wild. So thank you so much to, I believe you pronounce this name Marsi Solanki. I'm so sorry. I'm sure I butchered that pronunciation, but in my video recommendation form, which again is always in my description, she requested Bodyguard Rex. And then my channel members actually voted that this video get made this month, which that is one of the perks for my channel members. So I was like, okay, let's do Bodyguard romances. And as I always do, I go into my backlog of videos and see the last time I made one of these, just to make sure that, you know, if I am going to overlap any recommendations, that I don't do too many of them. Because sometimes when I look at the last time I recommended a book in one of these videos, I still want to recommend it again, but I maybe, you know, want to be reminded about it, or again, just not like do too many of them the same. I was surprised to find that the last time I made a Bodyguard rec video was in 2021, besides I did a YouTube short that had a few in it. So it had been a really long time, which made me really excited. So I was easily able to find 10, I believe it's all completely new. Now I'm questioning myself. Maybe there's one overlap, but I'm pretty sure it's all completely new ones for these, which is really fun. There is a good amount of mafia in here. Of course, I think I have 3 or 4 mafia ones. I have a dystopian one. I have a fantasy, a historical, and then of course some regular contemporary in here too. So I was able to find 10 recommendations for this. So we're going to dive into it right away. And I will tell you a little bit about these books in here. Now these ones, they did all end up being for this video, MF romances, with the female being the one being the subject of being protected. However, in the video I made in 2021, I do have some MM ones in there. And the reason why I don't have more of those in this one is that all of the MM Bodyguard ones that I thought of, they were in that video already. So I'm not repeating those in here, but I do have some that are MM rec videos. Now, I haven't read any yet that are sapphic ones. So, oh, and in that other video too, there's even a poly one as well that is in that video. So there's definitely some other pairings, and there's a throuple in that video that I did 5 years ago, so you can check out that. But these ones are all MF, but they are in lots of different subgenres of romance. So just want to set that out there. So let's dive in to these. Starting off with one that I'm actually annotating for one of my patrons this month. I did a reread of it just a couple months back, which was cool because I actually enjoyed it more this time around. But this one is an age gap forbidden mafia Bodyguard romance, back when they put everything right on the front cover. This is Burned Dreams by Neva Altai. Now, this one is number 7 in a series, right? But this portion of the series, you could read this one on its own. Now, I know some people will believe that, some people won't. I get it. But this one is Alessandro and Ravenna, and you can read this one on its own. You can. Having just reread it a couple months ago, of course, it does connect loosely with other books in the series, but in comparison with like Silent Lies and Sweet Prison and some of the other ones that connect, this one doesn't depend so much on the other books around it. So if you like what I'm about to tell you about this one, you want to just read a Bodyguard romance, you can just read this one. This one also does technically include like some cheating in it, but our heroine is in a forced, abusive marriage. So if you want to hold it against her that she doesn't love her husband, well, that's up to you. I really don't have a problem with her thinking about her bodyguard at all, because she's not in a situation that she should have ever been put in. So in this one, we have Ravenna, and as I mentioned, she's been forced into a marriage with a disgusting pig of a man, and she is being abused by him. Thankfully, well, if there's any thankful to be had about it, she has been able to do some things to manipulate him from sexually abusing her too much. But he is able to, of course, do other things to abuse and degrade her. And she has went through quite a few bodyguards, because if any of her bodyguards look at her even slightly with not even lecherous eyes, if they even look at her with kind eyes, he will kill them. So she's went through quite a few bodyguards. So enter Alessandro, and he actually wants to get revenge against Ravenna's husband, and what he feels at the beginning is get revenge against her too. He doesn't know the situation that she's in, but he had a wife, and was she pregnant too? I can't remember. I think it might be a situation too of like his wife and unborn child, but for sure it was his wife was killed by Ravenna's husband, and he has wanted revenge against him. And he gets the opportunity to be her new bodyguard. And he specifically gets picked because they have floated out the rumor that because he was so in love with his wife, no one has seen him with a woman before. And they're able to float out the rumor that he's actually gay. And that is able to get him the position as Ravenna's bodyguard, because as I mentioned, her husband is so possessive, and if any man is looking at his wife sexually or with any kindness at all, he has killed them. So her husband is actually quite intrigued by a bodyguard who would like men. So, of course, that is not true, but Alessandro is like, well, I'm not going to tell the guy any different, because he wants to get into the guy's house and start weaseling his way in. Now, again, he's not there to save Ravenna from this man. He wants to kill her and her husband. But very quickly, while he's there protecting her, he starts to see that she is a prisoner here, and to get revenge by like killing her wouldn't even necessarily hurt this man, because he doesn't care about her. She's a possession to him. And how would that be avenging his dead wife, to hurt this woman who is being tortured by this man as well? So anyway, that's the setup of this one. So he's her bodyguard at first and is just as controlling, is watching her to find a chance to hurt her as well. But the way that Neva writes a story, he very quickly is, he is telling himself he's going to have to kill her, so don't have feelings for her. But very quickly he's seeing what is happening to her, and he's not having those thoughts for very long. But anyway, Burn Dreams is a mafia bodyguard romance, and I've already spent too long talking about this. I always forget when we're doing rec videos. The first ones I always talk too long about. I'm so sorry. Okay, next up, I will briefly mention a more recent release. And this book is actually the one that Marsi, again, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I'm so sorry. In her request for me to make this video, she actually mentioned this book as she wanted more bodyguard romances after reading this book. And I enjoyed this book as well. So I know this rec won't necessarily be for you, Marsi, since you read it, but let's give it to everyone else. And this one was pretty fun too, because it reminded me of a, film that I watched when I was a kid, because this one is a president's daughter and then a ex-Secret Service agent. But this was a part of, Kristen Proby had these 2 books that came out this year that I think there was only 2 that she released with Amazon's publishing company. And this one, Safekeeping, there's Triple Creek Ranch, and the hero Gideon, how do I explain this best? So this book, the current timeline of it is taking place 5 years after he was the bodyguard for the heroine, whose name, Lena. He used to be her bodyguard, and he got hurt protecting her, and he ended up retiring, and she now has been like living her life. And he's retired, he's living on the family ranch, and he actually trains like bodyguards now at the family ranch, where like his brother runs kind of the ranch part, and he's set up kind of like a training area there where different men and women will come through, and he'll train them. And now she's kind of been trying to be out of the spotlight, working on her art, and then there comes a new threat to her where she almost gets kidnapped when she's on a trip. And to protect her, she gets sent to actually stay with him out at the ranch. He gets kind of called back up to service for a short time to have her come and stay with him. And now, her being 5 years older than she was before, because when he used to be her bodyguard, it was when she still like lived at home and was needing to be protected at all times. And he really was there for her a lot, obviously. So in this world too, like her mother is the president, and her mother was never really there for her because she was busy being president and doing all of these things. And Gideon was obviously there, seeing the toll that it really took on her. And she really kind of wants away from that life and to be her own person, and yada yada, like just saying all those things. But anyway, so this is now, he's no longer directly her bodyguard anymore, even though he is protecting her and she's staying out at this ranch. And so there's less inappropriateness for them to be having feelings growing between them. So yes, Safekeeping is I guess you could say it's like an ex-bodyguard in charge, but that's still kind of what he's doing out there and everything. So yes, this was the book that kind of inspired Marsi to ask for this video, and I enjoyed this one as well. I, of course, listened to this one. It was narrated by Sean Masters and Avery Karras, and they did a wonderful job. And I believe because this one was published with Amazon, if you download the Kindle book, I believe you get the audiobook downloaded to your Audible if you have it. So very handy dandy for listening purposes. Okay, next up, this is the one where, if you heard me in the beginning, I said there's one that's even kind of dystopian in here. And I thought of this one as kind of a fun, unique one to include, because it's not like officially a bodyguard romance, but we can get unique, we can get fun in here. And so I wanted to include this one from my author, Claire Kent. And she has this standalone in her Kindle universe, and it's kind of a standalone that kicks off a new series that she's working on called Protected. And I mean, it works, right? You'll see when I explain it, but this kicks off kind of the what's this series? The Wild. Sorry, my brain is forgetting. There are lots of books having to do with her that, oh great, now I messed up my little flower. Woo! Turn around, little flower. Having to do with hers. But in this one, it takes place just a few years after the end of the world as we knew it, just 2 years after an asteroid hit Earth and kind of sent us into an apocalypse. And we have our heroine, Lila, who she at first was with her boyfriend at the start of the apocalypse, and then he's died, and so she's really been on her own. And at the beginning of this story, she bumps into this group who's led by this guy named Logan, and the way that he does things is that they kind of have been collecting people, and not in a bad way. They just will find people who need protection and bring them into their group. And as long as you will do your share of the work and there's no sexual favors needed, there's no, there's nothing that you can't do. It's like, what can you do? Can you do the laundry? Can you help make the food? Can you, whatever you can offer, what you can provide, that's fine. Like, and they'll offer the protection. But Lila is a very petite, small woman, and she's been on her own, just having to be really scrappy, and she's, underfed and not doing well on her own. And so when she gets brought into this group, there is Deck, who is this silent, big muscly guy in the group, and Logan kind of assigns / Deck really takes to Lila right away, and he kind of makes himself her protector, hence the protected part of it. And Deck is a silent hero as well. He isn't deaf or hard of hearing, but he hasn't spoken since the end of the world as we know it. As you read the story, you find out why. And Lila and him she actually starts kind of teaching him some ASL. She had a cousin, I believe it's her cousin, who was deaf, and so she actually knows ASL, though Deck doesn't know any because, again, he isn't deaf. He hasn't had anyone to teach him that. He's just stopped speaking because of a trauma response to, again, some things he saw at the beginning of the apocalypse, which, you know what, not that surprising once you learn what it is and the world that they're living in now. And so that trauma he's went through is also part of what makes him want to be around Lila and protect her. So he makes himself her bodyguard, kind of whether she wants him to be or not. And very quickly she does want him to be, which is really beautiful. So yeah, so again, this one's kind of an unconventional bodyguard one, but I really love it. And of course I do. I mean, it's one of my Claire Kent. So as I said, my author, just to explain if you're someone random coming across this video who doesn't watch my normal things, I am a PA. I'm the personal assistant for Claire Kent / Noelle Adams. Those are her 2 pen names. So that's what I mean by my author. It's not just, oh, I love this author. No, I work for her. So that's just my disclaimer. So when I say how much I love her when I'm talking about her book, I do work for her. So take that for what you will. But this does in my opinion, fits into the bodyguard romance trope here if you want to try it out. And as always too, I'll put this in. I have links to all the books that I'm talking about during this video. Okay, moving on. Let's do another Mafia one. Let's throw in The High Priestess. So this is one that I read at the very beginning of this year. This one was book 2 in the Mafia Empire, which is the series that I'm still currently trying to catch up on for Michelle Hurd. I'm always behind with her books because she writes so prolifically. She writes so quickly. But this one is actually the Greek Mafia. And we have the eldest daughter of the Greek Mafia. What's her name here? Sorry. Let me scroll down and see what her name is. Cassia, that's what I thought. And in the beginning of this book, almost her entire family gets slaughtered. And she was already like the heir to the Greek Mafia. And we'd seen her in the previous book actually going to like the meetings of this mafia. There are these different heads of mafia who are an alliance, but they're kind of like against, I think it's the Bratva that is causing them problems in this one. The Bratva is often the problems in a lot of these ones, right? And her and her father didn't perfectly get along, but he was, probably doing his best through he didn't have sons, so he was doing his best with his daughter and whatever. He wasn't perfect, but he was her father and she loved him, and almost her whole family gets slaughtered and she's barely able to escape. And she is able to call in some reinforcements. And so some of the other some of the other mafias that they're aligned with, they come in and they rescue her. And then she basically gets assigned Lincoln Knight, who is a damaged sniper. He used to work for the military, and he's actually kind of switched sides. And you find out through the book why he switched sides to the mafia and what's led him to the life that he's living now. But he used to, he really works with one of the other mafias, but once he sees what she's going through and what has happened to her, and he really kind of attaches himself to her as she's trying to decide what she's going to do with the Greek mafia and how she's going to lead it now, and find out who sold out her family and what's going to happen from there. So Knight becomes kind of her right-hand man and her protector. So I really think that Michelle Hurd's books, they're not the most eloquently written or the most put together mafia out there. Like, I'm just being honest, but I love them. To me, they're almost, I always feel weird saying these about mafia books, but to me, they're almost these comforting stories, how she writes them. And I know what I'm in for with them. They're usually pretty insta-lovey. There's usually getting through traumas pretty quickly, but I still love them. I can't help myself. Okay, now a more regular contemporary-ish one. Realize I don't have too many of those in here. I have some pretty wacky ones. And this is one you will probably see in almost all like Bodyguard rec videos or posts from recent years, because it's one that a lot of people love, and with good reason. It's one of my favorites as well. It's why I was shocked I hadn't made a Bodyguard video like since this one came out, because I just love this one so much. I was like shocked that I hadn't done this. But anyway, it is Hideaway Heart. And yes, this one, real easy to say out. We have a country music star, Pixie Hart, aka Kelly Jo Sullivan, and this is book 3 in Cherry Tree Harbor. And Kelly Jo just wants some time away from being famous. She wants some time away from the spotlight, and so she goes to stay in a small cabin. And when her brother finds out that she is going there without any protection, without anyone watching her, he's like, girl, you are a famous country star. Do you not think, A, that people are going to find out that you went there, and B, that no one's going to take advantage of the fact that you're there alone? No, you can't do this. So her brother reaches out to Xander Buckley, who is a friend of his and is a former Navy SEAL. And so he agrees to go and look out for Kelly Jo while she's staying in this cabin. So it becomes a forced proximity, grumpy sunshine. She doesn't want him shadowing her every move, but Xander not only points out how dumb that is, that she just came here with no protection, but very quickly, like, there are paparazzi trying to follow her. She has people trying to give her trouble in her business life. And just showing up there on her own was a really stupid decision. Thankfully, she doesn't fight him for too long on it, which is good because it shows that she has some good sense. But yeah, it is, yeah. And then things start to heat up between the two of them when they're locked in this cabin together, which is great. So love, love, love that one. And again, it's a staple for a reason. It's very, very loved by lots of people. Okay, then there is The Rule Breaker by Elle Nickel. This one is book 2 in the Beaufort Billionaires, which are diamond billionaires. And this one is about, let me find her name here, sorry. This one is, Sinclair and Denver. And so Sinclair is a model and a socialite, and she comes off as a little bit spoiled, but she also has a heart of gold at the same time. And she really comes off the most spoiled, in my opinion, when she is dealing with her bodyguard. You can definitely tell there's an attraction between the two of them, but they also both know that it can't go anywhere. And so I think she gives him a harder time than she does anyone else because of that sexual frustration, which in my opinion does make her pretty reckless and foolish sometimes, trying to get the better of him in situations where she really should not, and gives more stress to her father and her brother. She gives more stress to them than she should, just to give Denver the runaround, which, you know, that might be fun flirting for the two of you, but you know, when you know the things that are really going on in their lives, I don't think it's the kindest thing to do to your family. But anyway, it works for the two of them. So when we get to kind of the boiling point, it does lead to Denver bringing her to his secluded cabin to keep her safe from some of the dangers and some of the people trying to get things from her and her family. And it also becomes a boiling point for their relationship because it forces some truths to come out of Denver as well. And some revelations have to come out between the two of them and some secrets that they're holding. So I enjoyed The Rule Breaker quite a bit, though I still stand by, I think the first one in this series, The Matchmaker, is the best one. But we'll see. The fourth and final book in the series, The Risk Taker, is coming out actually in July, and I do still plan to read that one. So we'll see if that one can suck me back into liking it as much as I liked The Matchmaker. But The Rule Breaker is a bodyguard romance, and I do like it. I do like it. So there we go. Okay, then we have a fantasy one for you. We have The Ashes of Thesmar, really the whole trilogy, but the first one in it is Iron and Embers. And this is the romance between Ren and, is it Thorn? What's his name? Sorry, I forget it. Torge. I was close. And this is a spin-off series from, what's the first series called? I've only read this spin-off series. By the way, I always say that. I've only read this spin-off series. Eventually, I want to read the original series. But I only read this spin-off series, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite series from last year. And I thought it was fantastic. But Blood and Steel, Vows and Ruin. Why doesn't it say the series name? The Legends of Thesmar was the original series. So, yeah, this spin-off series is Iron and Embers. Let's see. Ashes and... Or, what is it? Thorns and Fire. And then Ashes and... something else. I can't read all of them because the light's in my eyes. But anyway, so this one involves Ren Embervale, who's an alchemist turned assassin. And she goes to this alchemy academy to learn the dark magic that's threatening their kingdoms. And she has to conquer this gauntlet, a series of grueling trials. And Torge gets sent along with to guard her and protect her. And he's the silver-haired war hero who he hates her since she assassinated his last charge. So as kind of his redemption for losing a charge, he now has to protect her. So it's very interesting. Oh, also there's the little wrench in the plan that they're actually soulmates, but they're both fighting that fact. One of them is aware that they're soulmates. The other one isn't. I won't tell you who. But there's also that tension that they supposedly hate each other. And then, yeah, there is this great evil that's like coming after their land. And Ren is hoping to learn as much as she can about it by being at this academy. And I really liked how it all played out. I love the audiobooks for this series. That's how I read it for the most part. And I just thought it was so good. I can't wait for Helen's new series to start. It starts later this year. And yeah, I just love this. But yes, he is her bodyguard. It involves shared conjoining rooms. It involves her also trying to slip his protection a lot, which can be a trope that annoys me, particularly when like there are seriously people coming after you. But I also just enjoyed how much shit they gave each other, so I can't help myself. I love it quite a bit. Okay, then I also want to share actually a historical one for you, and this one is a throwback. This is the one where I don't quite remember if I did put it in the first one or not. I can't remember. I don't think I did, because I think I read this after 2021, but I was too lazy to open and check. But if it is, it's the only one that overlaps between the two videos, and I want to remind you of it anyway. So this is Joss and the Countess, and this is a part of the Seducer series by S.M. La Violette, aka Minerva Spencer. And this is a part of her series that, oh my gosh, I just love it so much. But the heroine in here is Alicia Selwood, and she is a widow, and she needs a bodyguard who can protect her on her late night adventures. So she needs someone who is professional and discreet. And so she hires Joss, who is the hero in this, and he is actually a ex-sex worker himself. And so Joss never intended to be anything but her faithful servant, but the more time he spends with her, the more he longs to love and possess her. He knows they are separated by a vast, unbridgeable social gap, and that she'll use him and discard him, but none of those worries can stop Joss from serving her by day and dominating her by night. Yes, we get some juicy goodness in here. When a ghost from Alicia's past threatens all that she holds dear, she's forced to choose between the only family she has left and the man who has come to mean everything to her. Can Joss and Alicia stand together and fight for their happily ever after, no matter how taboo, or will society's pressures and expectations tear the two lovers apart? So I love this so much. It's so beautiful. One thing I'll say is, like, the color is like bleeding in this cover. Oh, but it's still so beautiful. See, like, the color is bleeding, but they don't have this cover anymore because she switched it, honestly, to kind of one I don't really love that much. So I don't care. I'm keeping this beautiful cover for it. But I love the series. See, the green is even coming off on my fingers, but I don't care. It's so beautiful. So I love this one. I love S.M. La Violette's more sexy books, and this trilogy is so good. I just love it so much. Another one with a pop star or a singer, which I guess the Heartbreaker, it's a country singer, but there is I Like You Like That by Kayla Gross. This was one I actually ended up getting an ALC for when she was getting the audiobooks done for these ones. And this one, is, I think this one is like a second chance as well, but, or they were friends. Sorry, I'm reading my, let me pull this closer. I pulled up my, review here. So this is Liam and Birdie, and they were friends as teens, but then a miscommunication pushed them apart. So they were friends when they were kids. But now, because of meddling friends and a creepy stalker, they're forced back together. And with time on the road and constant proximity, there's only so long they can go before their secrets and regrets blow up in their faces. They still have to defeat her stalker, but seeing them work through their childhood struggles was very cathartic. This is me reading my review, not what the blurb says. So it was very steamy, and it doesn't disappoint in that regard. And it was narrated by Grayson Owens and Angelina Roca, who I love them. They're so good. And this one has, yes, because it is a like plus size heroine in the music industry, so that's very intense. So yeah, but yeah, she has a stalker and he's protecting her from that. So love that. So yeah, that is I Like You Like That. One to mention is one more Mafia one to slip in here. This is When She Tempts by Gabrielle Sands, and this one is Martina De Rossi, and the hero in this one is Giorgio. And if I remember correctly, Giorgio gets asked to protect her because her brother is about to become the Dawn, and I believe he takes her like to his home to protect her. And she is very much trying to tempt him quite a bit, I believe. And he's waging a war. The brother is waging a war And she could be the perfect pawn that people could use against her, either by straight up holding her like for ransom to get him to do something, or trying to force her into a marriage to force an alliance for someone. But now she's staying with him, and could be causing Giorgio some problems as well, because while she could be forced by an enemy for an alliance, she also will be a very important pawn for a marriage once her brother has a peace deal in place as well. So such be the fate of the women in the mafia, unfortunately. So that's the position that she's in anyway. So yeah, this is wonderful. This series was the first series that Gabrielle Sands did, the Fallen series, and I enjoyed it so much. I can't wait. She finally has a new book coming out the end of July. It's going to be so good. I can't wait to get my hands on that. Because she had just started that series and then she had her baby, so she had to postpone a release for a little bit. But the next one's coming out the end of July, so I can't wait for it. But anywho, there you go. Those are 10 Bodyguard romances. And like I said, I'll have links to all of them down below. So give them a gander. And again, thank you so much to Marsi for requesting this video. And thank you to my channel members for sponsoring this video this month. If you would like to support me via channel memberships, there is always an opportunity to do that. If you'd like to be a part of my Patreon and be able to get exclusive reviews every month, exclusive vlogs of behind the scenes, check that out. And yeah, hype this video, like this video, so that others can get it popping up in their feeds as well. And I will see you next time, friends.